Coming up on CitySpan, doing business in Savannah. Is it a wild goose chase? Climbing mountains to overcome adversity. Messages of hope move Savannah audiences.
And stepping up to help those in need, city employees stock the shelves. Stay tuned, CitySpan starts right now. Hello everyone, I'm Margaret Williams.
And I'm Brett Bell.
Welcome to CitySpan, your source for news and information about Savannah city government.
First up, Savannah this month mourned the passing of former Mayor Floyd Adams Jr. Adams served on City Council for 12 years before winning the first of 2 terms as mayor in 1995. While history will remember him as Savannah's first African-American mayor, Floyd Adams always saw himself as the mayor of all Savannah. During his 8 years, Adams oversaw the redevelopment of underserved neighborhoods such as Kyler Brownville, Benjamin Van Clark, Filer Park, and West Savannah.
He helped launch the most aggressive drainage improvement program in Savannah's history. Annexations under his watch on the west side and south side increased Savannah's land area by 40% and greatly broadened the tax base. While he was mayor, Savannah experienced the greatest period of economic expansion in the past half-century. You know, Brett, Floyd Adams was a great gift to the city of Savannah, but to me personally as well. When I was a college student at Savannah State of Mass Comm, I did my internship at the Herald under Ford's direction and guidance, and then came on to work at the city with him as mayor. So he's been a big part of my life. Also introduced me to my husband.
No kidding.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, you know, he really is sort of very much a part of this community. I'll remember him fondly. Prior to work for the city, I was a reporter. He was the first mayor that I covered. He and I, we had our disagreements at times.
I'm sure.
But there was a mutual respect, I feel,
Absolutely.
and I definitely respected him as a man and as a leader in this community.
Absolutely. It's a great loss to our community, but he left a great legacy and great memories.
I think Savannah will remember him well.
Absolutely.
In 2012, Mayor Jackson launched a new process with the goal of making Savannah the most business-friendly community in the nation. The Business Roundtable paired city staff with business leaders and worked for more than a year to create recommendations for improvements. After more than a year of work, Roundtable Chairman Greg Parker presented the group's findings to City Council during a workshop in December. CitySpan's Jody Jenkins has more.
It was deja vu all over again, as Greg Parker, head of the Mayor's Business Roundtable, sent a tough message to the City Council in mid-December, no matter how diplomatic the delivery. And he used as his point of departure rankings by Forbes magazine that showed Savannah 124th among the best cities in which to do business nationwide.
Well, one of the things I can tell you about creating a strong brand, and Savannah has a strong brand. It's known as a historic, beautiful city. But is it known as one of the best cities in America in which to do business? Not according to the surveys. 124 ain't great.
But as council members listened to the sobering presentation and Parker ticked through the list of recommendations, it quickly became clear that several of the fixes were already in place. Recommendation number 2, a Sherpa, a liaison between businesses and city departments to make it easier for businesses to find the answers they need to get their work done. But that job has been filled for nearly 2 years by this woman, Christy Lawrence, a trained engineer who worked for 17 years in the private sector before taking her position with Savannah.
To me, a Sherpa, I picture Mount Everest and someone like guiding them up the mountain, and that is really what I do. And so I hope that businesses can clue into me early on in the process so I can tell them where they need to go.
Contractors, architects, and other professionals are versed in the language of zoning, permitting, and licensing. It's what they do. But for the small businesses just trying to set up, it's easy to trip. And the city is there to catch them.
In the past, businesses were bounced around town. Now go here, and felt like they were on a wild goose chase. So now we've simplified that process where revenue coordinates directly with our zoning people to get that approval internally so that businesses don't have to run around and do it themselves.
Another roundtable recommendation was to go electronic, which the city has been doing for some time. E-track is to permitting and other functions what a FedEx tracking number is to packages. File online. Track the progress of paperwork as it wins its way through the bureaucratic digestive tract. And pay electronically. It's almost drive-through.
The biggest gain is to the contractor because they're not having to put in the miles and the time to get to our office. But there is a time saving for the city as well because, we're not having to take that piece of paper and then enter all the data into the computer. In a sense, the contractors become our data entry for that permit.
Instituting the Roundtable recommendations and showing the city is willing to mend its ways is lending credibility to the talk of change. While that change is clearly a work in progress, perhaps item number 3 on the list, the image makeover, will be coming soon to an advertising campaign near you. For CitySpan, this is Jody Jenkins reporting.
Got an old sofa or other unwanted household item you want to get rid of? You may already know that the City Sanitation Bureau provides free, regular bulk item pickup. But before you go hauling those items to the curb, there are some changes that went into effect recently that you need to be aware of. Residential Refuse Director John Dinion has more.
If it's bulk item week, what we're asking folks is to call us the week before and let us know that there's a bulk item to be picked up, and we will certainly pick it up. And there'll be no fee as long as the item is called in the week before the collection by Friday that afternoon. What this is a typical example of a bulk item. It's an old couch. We're here in Carver Village on collection day. As you can see, all the other carts up and down the street are out. If it's not called in, this will be collected with the regular collection. However, there will be a fee involved of $25 for a bulk item collection. It's unscheduled. Your bulk item schedule, as you know, is dependent upon the day of your collection. The 1st through 4th Saturdays of the month start your bulk item week, dependent on your collection day. Beginning, of course, Monday is your first Saturday, going through Thursday being your 4th Saturday. Put your bulk items out that Saturday morning after you call in the previous week, and we'll make sure they're collected the following week by our collection crews. We pick up all types of household goods, couches, furniture, refrigerators, stoves, really anything that people put out, mattresses, anything that's larger than it's not a usual item that goes in your regular green collection cart.
Remember, to schedule your bulk item pickup, just call 311 the week before your scheduled pickup. Do not place your items at the curb before your bulk item pickup day, which always falls on Saturday, or you will be charged. You can get more information, including complete sanitation schedules, on our website, savannahga.gov.
It comes and goes with little publicity, but it's turning into one of the above-ground, underground events of the year. In January, the Telluride Mountain Film Festival filled Savannah with true-life adventures, portraits of inspiring people, and looks into our world with an honest, open, and hopeful gaze.
Everyone has their mountains to climb. Their stories of trying to overcome adversity.
There's no given of success. There's a tremendous amount of risk.
We got these terrible conditions, rock-hard blue ice, covered by a little bit of snow.
Stories of hope, of searching for some inspiration to see us through.
So I told everybody on the speakerphone that day, I said, you know what? I want you guys to celebrate skiing for me. I said, I want you guys to love it the way I loved it. There's nothing to mourn here because I'm going to be back.
And that's what the Mountain Film Festival on tour is all about. Giving people a reason to hope in times when there's too much to mourn on a daily basis. Inspiring people to engage for a better world.
We are so touched when we watch what people do. You see the spirit of man and you feel good about that. I think that's part of the inspiration is we hear so many negative things about what's wrong. This is what's right.
Zelda Tannenbaum was so convinced of the rightness of the inspirational nature of the Mountain Film Festival in Telluride, Colorado. 5 years ago, she decided to bring it to Savannah, and it's been growing ever since.
We're inspired as human beings by what human beings do, and we're inspired to do more ourselves. Telluride does inspire us to take action, and it also entertains us at the same time. It educates us, it makes us more aware of what's going on in the global world, and it brings together like-minded people.
like-minded people in 100 different countries on 5 continents. And thanks to Gulfstream, hundreds of school students from across the area got a chance to taste the inspiration mountain film brings, and to see stories of how individuals make a difference. Pete McBride, producer and director of Chasing Water and Tower of Water, said that's the reason the film festival exists.
You can go around the world in 45 minutes with 4 short films at the festival like this, and you can see birds of paradise, you can see kayaking in Mexico, you can see Mount Everest, and you can see a story about water conservation, all like that. And I think it's great.
The festival began 5 years ago with 80 attendees. Its 2014 2-day run was packed to capacity, and it included a Saturday morning coffee talk with filmmakers and conservationists, a family matinee, and a bike ride through Savannah. For CitySpan, this is Jody Jenkins reporting.
Coming up on CitySpan, uncovering a piece of Savannah's history. The findings are in.
And later, shining a light on our greatest assets, one square at a time.
Welcome back. I'm Margaret Williams. Savannah City employees stepped up over the holidays to help the hungry in our community. They topped last year's generous donation to the Second Harvest Food Bank by donating enough canned goods to provide for almost 38,000 meals. Their generosity was recognized by the City Council and Mayor Edna Jackson at a recent council meeting. CitySpan's Jody Jenkins brings us the story.
Management Services Director Sean Brandon was on hand, hoisting the trophy for the most generous city bureau. His 240 employees donated 3,600 cans, averaging approximately 15 cans per employee.
I'd like to thank all the employees in management services and citywide. This was a tremendous effort. I am still shocked by how enthusiastic every city employee was, and so I hope this very much stays a part of what we do on an annual basis.
City employees gave a total of 23,349 cans of food in the run-up to Christmas. It allowed Second Harvest to provide some 38,000 meals to area residents. The mayor, city council, and city manager Stephanie Cutter, who started the donation drive, gathered outside the Civic Center just before the holidays as the canned goods were collected from the various city departments.
The community is judged by how we care about those that are least fortunate here in our community. I'm here to tell you that Savannah, the city of Savannah, cares about our residents.
The food was loaded onto dozens of trucks and taken by motorcade to the Second Harvest Processing Center on President Street. They were unloaded by a waiting army of volunteers who sorted them for distribution. America's Second Harvest is the region's food warehouse and distribution center for more than 208 nonprofit organizations and churches. It distributed more than 10 million pounds of food to those in need in 2012. For CitySpan, I'm Jody Jenkins reporting.
The past is a bit clearer for a unique piece of Savannah's history. During a recent work session, City Council got an update on the Cluskey Embankment Stores. A months-long archaeological investigation of these mysterious structures next to City Hall is now complete, and the findings may surprise you.
It showed that the largest of the 2 vaults, the ones closest to City Hall, And these are the vaults that were disturbed in 1904 by a collapse during the construction of City Hall, had been greatly disturbed due to that collapse and reconstruction. So they didn't hold a lot of information. The smaller two vaults had a lot more information that the archaeologists were able to uncover. One of the vaults showed signs that had been used to house livestock, been used as a stabling area. The smallest vault showed signs that had been used as a Union encampment by soldiers, federal soldiers during the Civil War, showed signs that there had been a hearth fire that they had for warmth or to cook food. Also, they found buttons from their federal uniforms, cast iron pots, and wine bottles. All of those materials, they're still trying to piece together what that all means to the site. Those cast iron pots and wine bottles predate the Civil War layer. So they're trying to figure out, were they just left behind? Were they buried on purpose? Were they hidden? Were they stored in here? Was that a commodity that these vaults were used for storage? So there's a lot of information they're still trying to figure out. So the artifacts are all still up at Georgia Southern, where they've continued to investigate them and put the pieces together to fill in the gaps so we can get a better understanding of how the vaults were used over time. All of the artifacts are due to come back to us in June of this year, June of 2014, and at that time we'll get a final report of their analysis and investigation. After the on-site work was done and the archaeologists no longer needed to be working in the vaults here in Savannah, we did want to secure the vault some. We had continued problems with parkers trying to park here on the weekends and evenings, so we installed cast iron bollards that will prevent vehicles from coming in but still allow pedestrians to come in and experience and visit the vaults. We also upgraded the lighting so that nights the vaults are much brighter, and that was for safety reasons, and also to prep them for interpretive signage that we are going to install once we get the final results of the investigation.
The Cluskey Embankment Stores are among the oldest city-owned structures. They were built in 1842 as part of a retaining wall between the Drayton Street ramp and the old City Exchange, located where the current City Hall sits. The city plans some public outreach once the artifacts are returned, including a future exhibit. We'll keep you posted as these plans develop.
On an earlier City Span, we told you about lighting upgrades taking place in some of Savannah's downtown squares. These upgrades were done to enhance the nighttime ambiance of the squares and to improve public safety. Park and Tree Director Jared Fleming explains.
You can now walk through the squares and you just have a better feeling going through there. The old lights were kind of a yellow, harsh light, kind of hard on the eyes, and didn't show true colors, so you weren't quite sure what you were walking through, where now you can walk through at night and it's it's still a nighttime atmosphere, but it's a safer feeling atmosphere because it's lighter, you can see better. The lighting actually enhances the squares themselves and the monuments and the trees and the walkways, and provides a higher level of public safety. At the same time that we're upgrading the lights in the squares, we're also upgrading some of the monument lighting, starting with the Gordon Monument and the Tamachichi Monument behind me. Some of the lights have been installed. There were old lights in around some of the monuments. Some of the monuments didn't have lighting, or some had lighting that was not functional.
In January, representatives from the Downtown Neighborhood Association presented the mayor and city council with a check for $6,000 to assist in the ongoing lighting improvements, part of DNA's mission to enhance the quality of life in downtown Savannah.
DNA appreciates this work very much and commends all concerned. It is an excellent example of the city partnering with neighborhoods and citizens for the common good. This partnership is a hallmark of Mayor Jackson's administration, this city council, and the dedicated Savannah city staff under the leadership of city manager Stephanie Cutter.
According to Park and Tree Director Jared Fleming, as many as 10 of Savannah's downtown squares will receive lighting upgrades by the end of this year. We'll keep you posted as work continues. Or better yet, come downtown and check it out for yourself.
Each month on City Span, we team up with the folks at Bank on Savannah. It's an initiative of Step Up Savannah to provide you with easy tips to help you make the most of your money. With more, here's Richard Reeve from the Consumer Credit Counseling Service of Savannah.
With the holidays behind us and a new year already begun, it's not too late to think about what you want to accomplish this year. consider setting a financial New Year's resolution. This might include paying off debt, balancing your budget, or establishing an emergency fund. By following these financial tips, you can maintain healthy money management during the new year. Many of us want 2014 to be the year we get debt-free, but with the average American household owing close to $7,000 in credit card debt, it's not easy. The first step is to stop using credit. Take your credit cards out of your wallet or purse, freeze them on a block of ice, or cut them up. Then review your credit card statements or pull your credit report to find out how much you owe. Review your spending habits and cut back wherever you can. Use the money you save by making cuts to aggressively pay off debt. Once you pay off the debt, you can put your money towards goals like buying a home or taking a vacation. Part of your financial New Year's resolution may include balancing your monthly household budget, reviewing your bills to look for any additional or hidden fees. Sometimes we pay for things on our cell phone bills, cable bills, and other utilities that we don't need or want. If you find these fees, contact your provider to have them removed. You can also use this time to shop for other providers to save money. If you don't already have one, make 2014 the year to start an emergency fund. An emergency fund is a must-have in the current economic climate, where the unexpected is very expected. Job loss, divorces, and medical issues can derail your finances quickly. Financial experts recommend that people maintain a cash reserve large enough to cover 3 to 6 months worth of household expenses. You can set up an emergency fund by opening a savings account, setting automatic deposits, and not withdrawing money from that account. Before you know it, you'll have enough money in the account and you can sleep better at night. By keeping these resolutions, you can make 2014 a financially happy new year. Stay tuned next month when we'll discuss the difference between banks and credit unions. Until then, I'm Richard Reeve, and you can bank on this.
Coming up on City Span, B.Y.O.B. and help save the environment. We'll tell you how.
And later, keeping up appearances. It can be golden.
Are you a low-income homeowner in the city of Savannah? If so, you may be eligible for the city's free volunteer summer home repair program. Work may include ramp and fence repairs and exterior painting. Only single-story homes are eligible. Applications are being accepted through April 15th. For more information, call the City of Savannah at 651-6517.
Welcome back to City Span. I'm Brett Bell. We can all do our part to help make Savannah a greener place. That's what the city's Thrive initiative is all about, helping to reduce the city's carbon footprint and promoting an eco-friendly and sustainable community. But it's not just the city that's going green. A new program kicked off in December aimed at curbing our reliance on those pesky plastic shopping bags. City Span's Garrison Marr has more.
It's amazing how enough little things can add up to a bigger problem. Consider the plastic shopping bag. While it weighs only 4 or 5 grams, it can take 500 to 1,000 years to degrade in a landfill. But that's not the only place that plastic bags wind up. It was found to be the second most prevalent form of refuse in our oceans by the Ocean Conservancy. It can also be found in neighborhood litter. One group of Savannah residents and businesses is trying a different approach though. On December 14th, the Bring Your Own Bag project launched at a number of participating downtown restaurants. Local surfer and server Ashley Workman led the charge.
As a surfer, I feel deeply connected with the ocean. And as a member of our local food and beverage industry that serves our community as well as our visitors, I was interested in what businesses could do to become more environmentally conscientious. This is why I formed the B.Y.O.B project. The business and community support was overwhelming. I reached out to local restaurants for participation, and by providing them with their own customized reusable bags to offer as an alternative to single-use plastic bags for carry-out food orders, we were able to raise awareness of the unnecessary wastefulness of plastic bags in the food and beverage industry. We celebrated the launch of the Bring Your Own Bag project in Forsyth Park on December 14th with live music, dodgeball, and hula hoops, and fun was had by all.
But residents interested in reducing landfill waste and keeping our waterways and streets cleaner can bring reusable bags with them to all the local businesses that they support.
It's one more way to support our local waterways and our local businesses.
And one more way to think green, Savannah.
Throughout the year, the city's Leisure Services Bureau offers classes in everything from ceramics to pottery and painting to metalworking. Over the holidays, the city held its first ever staff and student show in the Space Gallery on West Henry Street. The purpose was to highlight the incredible work created by the students and their instructors, and to let city residents know how they can get in on the fun.
Despite the city's long-running arts programs, this was the first ever exhibition to showcase the work of students and instructors. And the scope was impressive. Almost everything you could imagine and then some. And then some that you couldn't imagine. Like the ever-popular Roadkill Cup. It comes with a license plate platter. Deborah Zoomstein, Arts Programs Coordinator for the City of Savannah, said the show allowed students and instructors to get to know one another's work and gave the public a taste for the range of classes the city has to offer.
We have approximately 35 students displaying their work, and over 200 pieces are here on display. Well, the classes that are represented in the gallery are ceramics, raku, wheel throwing, hand building, and sculptural classes. We also have our metalsmithing program represented, which includes our beginner's metalsmithing as well as our open studio metalsmithing, as well as enameling and fused glass pieces incorporated into jewelry. With the jewelry, we work, the students work with a lot of copper, and some of them have brought in their own stones to add extra embellishments to the works. We do a lot of bezel setting in silver. We have the full metalsmithing setup. We have a pretty extensive metalsmithing setup.
Throughout the year, Cultural Affairs offers about 50 classes in everything from pottery to stained glass to jewelry making.
Ooh.
For a list of the current offerings and to register, visit the Cultural Affairs webpage at www.savannahga.gov/arts. There are 3- and 6-week courses available. The current session runs through the end of February.
Shaving mug.
For CitySpan, this is Jody Jenkins reporting.
And finally on CitySpan, Alderman Van Johnson was joined by representatives from the Savannah Citizen Office last month to present the latest Golden Broom Award to Old Town Trolley Tours on MLK Boulevard. General Manager Charlie Brazil says there's caring for his business's appearance is critical to getting referrals and return customers.
We show the city to about 300,000 people a year, and if the product is not looking good, then they won't come back, they won't tell their friends, and we die on the vine. So it's really important for us to be good stewards of the product that's out there. That is the historic district, and we are not only stewards of it, but we're residents of it as well. So it is extremely important for us to make sure to keep our beautification efforts at the highest level they can be.
The Golden Broom Award is presented quarterly to a downtown business based on appearance, cleanliness, signage, landscaping, and overall beautification.
It's so nice to see a Golden Broom Award. You know, growing up in my generation, we were always taught to sweep in front of your door. So the idea that you're getting a Golden Broom to remind you it's your responsibility to keep in front of your house clean, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's really great. You know, the city, we've got a pretty robust litter pickup service, but we can't do it all. We definitely need the active participation of our residents and our businesses.
Absolutely, and it's a personal responsibility and personal pride.
And Savannah is the most beautiful city in America. Why wouldn't we?
Why wouldn't we keep it clean?
Absolutely.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of CitySpan.
Don't forget, for the latest news and information about the City of Savannah, keep it tuned to SGTV, visit our website, savannahga.gov, or follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Until next time, I'm Margaret Williams.
And I'm Brett Bell.
Thanks for watching, and thanks for making Savannah your home.